Welcome to Here to Be Human, a multi-dimensional soul. This is not just a podcast, it's a remembering. A space where soul meets skin and the sacred meets the messy. Where spirit is not something you escape into, it's something you embody here in this beautiful, chaotic, breathtaking human life. Each episode is a living transmission, a weaving of energy, truth, reflection, and remembrance, with questions for your soul, messages from beyond, and invitations to meet yourself in ways you've never dared to before. Whether you're walking through shadow or starlight, you belong here. I am Julie, your guide, your mirror, your voice in the void. This is Here to Be Human, and you are right on time. You are not the beginning. You are the convergence of blood, memory, survival, and soul. This is Here to Be Human, a multidimensional soul, and this is episode 11, Ancestral Echoes, Healing the Lineage Within You. So before we begin, here's our reflection point. So just take a deep breath in and close your eyes if you need to. And your reflection question is, what came before you? What patterns or stories do you carry that didn't begin with you? And just feel the echo of lineage move through your body. What came before you? What patterns or stories do you carry that didn't begin with you? And if you're new to this podcast, welcome. And this podcast works in 4 segments. We break down our ultimate theme for today, with our last segment, which is segment 4, is our ritual and integration. So let us begin with our first segment, which is you carry more than your story. So trauma travels. So does love. So does wisdom. So does silence. Your nervous system didn't start with you. It remembers, it adapts, it echoes generations. Some of what you struggle with isn't personal, it's ancestral. And your healing becomes a bridge between what was and what's possible. To acknowledge this isn't to blame, it's really to reclaim the power to choose something new. And if you have a moment, you can write this down. And I feel like these are really important moments where we allow ourselves to step back in time and look at our own experiences. So I encourage you, where have you had moments where you could feel that you were carrying emotions or fears that didn't belong only to you? So this is a great moment to kind of, again, write this down. You can always come back and journal this. But going back to our experiences, allowing ourselves to really see where we have come from is really, really important. And especially when we're dealing with ancestral lineage and the healing that we are undergoing in this timeline, based on what has happened in the past, whether it's to us or whether it's to our previous family members. So again, from your own experience, where have you had moments where you could feel that you were carrying emotions or fears that didn't belong only to you? Okay. So we're going to open up the space now to ask what wants to be remembered. And here I'm going to channel some questions from Spirit. So our first question, and again, you can channel with me if you like, is what do our ancestors want us to know about our role in the healing of the lineage? So what do our ancestors want us to know about our role in the healing of lineage? That healing has already taken place. The thing that you're healing in this current time and space has also been healed to the best of the ability, the best of the knowledge, the best of what was given to your ancestors in the time frame that they have come from. Just as we're moving through this timeline where we are healing aspects of ourselves, and we are always healing aspects of ourselves. And I don't think that we are forever going to get to a point where it's like, oh my God, I'm healed and I'm perfect. And no, this is more about what your ancestors are saying is they have healed a part of that journey based on what they were able to utilize for that healing, whether it was guidance, seers, rituals, shamans, medicine, all that type of stuff. And what they're saying in this lifetime, what we can learn about the role in healing of the lineage is trusting that a part of it has already been healed. And what we are seeing is the next part that needs to be explored, the next part that needs to have some healing given, offered, explored to it, because our current lifestyle, our world, the modernness of it, the innovativeness of it, is experiencing this trauma or this situation that our ancestors have been in. We're just experiencing it differently in order to allow our lineage to evolve and grow as the multidimensional soul that we are. So if we choose to reincarnate, we are allowing the lineage to continuously evolve as a whole. So, not just us as our own individual healing evolving when we are tapping into something from our ancestors, it really is beginning to heal the ancestral lineage and allowing the ancestral lineage to evolutionize itself so that the souls that are connected can move to higher consciousness, higher intelligence of the universe. It's not just about let's heal this, so if we reincarnate, we don't get to go through it anymore. We always go through very similar lessons. We always go through very similar circumstances. They are just presented to us differently to help us evolve the soul so that we do reach a higher level of consciousness here in the physical world through our awareness and that expansiveness of the awareness. But it also allows our soul to integrate and evolve in a higher spiritual plane. So as we talk about earth school, there is spiritual school, and there's like universal rules and universal intelligence and healing intelligence and the cosmos. There's so much stuff out there that we don't know about. And this plays just a small part in the bigger picture. And that is why it's really important that healing the lineage is not necessarily about I am healed in this moment. Yes, that is a byproduct, but the ultimate thing that you are healing is the soul being able to explore, to expand, and reach new heights of intelligence when that lineage is connected to the divine. Wow. I have never looked at it like that before until now. Whew. I learn every time I do this podcast, every time I do a new episode, I'm also learning with all of you who are listening to it. Okay, so our next question to Spirit is, what happens when we become conscious of the energy we carry from before our time? Ooh, okay, so what happens when we become conscious of the energy we carry from before our time? When we're more conscious of the energy, we begin to see things see things with a different lens. We begin to understand our brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, friends, partners with a different lens. So, by tapping into the energy of what may have been occurring 100 or thousands of years ago, all of a sudden, we allow our soul to remember parts of ourselves. We allow our soul to share memories that are stored in our DNA, and we begin to gain a better understanding of who we are. So when we understand where we have come from energetically, not necessarily, that was my grandfather 200 years ago, that was his name, and that's my ancestry. It's not about that. This is more about the becoming conscious of the energy of who you once were, what you were connecting to, and the learnings and the environment and what was playing out for you, and also what was playing out for your ancestors all those years ago. It allows you to have a better understanding of, one, what you came here to do, two, how to navigate the next steps moving forward. But it also opens you up to some ancient tools, such as astrology, whether that's Western tropical or Vedic astrology, or different ancient tools that people used to gain a better understanding of the universe, to gain a better understanding of energy, healing, and whatnot. And by utilizing these tools, it kind of gives you the map to have a look at where you once were and what you came here to do, because these are really ancient tools. And, the cosmos has been around since the beginning of time, whatever that means. But obviously, we've been utilizing it for X amount of time that we're understanding in how we interpret astrology now. Back in the day, it was more rocks and sun and that type of thing. So when you become more conscious of this energy, it really will allow you to expand your spiritual awareness, how you deal with people, what your true story of origin is. And it's this, again, your true story of origin has got nothing to do with your ancestral person, like who your grandma, your great grandfather was. This is more about that lineage, that soul contract, that soul knowing of other souls before you, but also who your soul has evolved into now from where it was hundreds of thousands of millions of years ago. And that's what happens when we become conscious of the energy that we carry before our time. And I think that in itself is way more powerful than anything that anyone else could give you, other than you feeling into that energy, other than you understanding through that deep connection to source, to the divine, who you once were, who you always have been, and what your soul is asking for you to become in order for the ultimate spiritual enlightenment and connection to higher intelligence that your source and your soul as one merges and brings forward to you. So your reflection point here for you to sit with and see how it resonates. What stories, emotions, or patterns do you sense in your body that might not have started with you? So take a moment here just to let these words land. You can always come back and journal them later or see what is initially coming up for you. But what stories, emotions, or patterns do you sense in your body that might not have started with you. Now, as we move into our next segment, which is wounds passed down, wisdom passed on. Here we go. Now, ancestral wounds can look like repeating the same kind of heartbreak, hiding your truth for survival, feeling unsafe in your joy, carrying guilt, shame, or scarcity with no clear source. But you also carry ancestral gifts, a deep intuition, endurance, sacred traditions, and an ancient kind of knowing. You are not only the wound, you are the evolution. You are what your ancestors prayed would come. So take a moment here if you would like to write out some of your own personal story entries in your journal or just being aware of them now. So, where have you had times where you've realized the strength of your intuition? And what were you drawing on that wasn't just yours? So this is all about your own lineage or your inherited resilience. So from your own experience, where have you had times where you realized the strength of your intuition was drawing, or where it was drawing on wasn't just yours? So again, you can always come back to that. It's always, like I always say, it's great to kind of look at your past experiences because it really will help. Sometimes we forget what we've actually overcome and what we've been through. And it's not until someone reignites that in you, or there's a remembering when someone says something that you go like, far out, like I've actually overcome quite a lot of stuff. So that's why I decided to throw those in these later episodes of season 1, because I feel like there's so many stories that come up that we push down or we forget, but it's really important to know how we have overcome those situations, because what it does is it shows you that you can overcome anything. So we're going to pause and listen for what else wants to be spoken here. So we're going to see what Spirit has for us. So the question that we have for Spirit, again, you can channel along with me if you like, is what ancestral gifts are ready to awaken in us now? Oh, I like this. So what ancestral gifts are ready to awaken in us now? Okay. So what I'm being shown is the fight for truth is awakening in us now. To be heard, to be seen, to stand up for humanity as we move into a world of uncertainty. Not necessarily uncertainty in a negative sense, but moving into a space that has yet to be explored fully. And when something isn't explored fully, we have a tendency to look at it in a space of fear, where the gifts that are awakening within all of us right now is truth, is to fight for what you believe in. And I'm not talking about fighting physically, I'm talking about standing up for what you believe in, whatever the cause is for you, whatever it is that you want to be known for, what is a legacy that you're wanting to leave behind. And when we fight for our truth or the truth of humanity as a collective, we become powerful. And this is not about taking anything down. This is more about shedding the light on the things that need to be dissolved and looking at ways to work with the things that we cannot control that are already here in our conscious lives. And how do we work with these things now? And the only way to work with something that we don't know enough about is to fight for our truth. And that might be being inquisitive, that might be exploring more, that might be taking a course or a class. You have ancestral gifts within you that is asking you to take that strength, that courage to understand what it is that you believe in this moment as the world is shifting. And it will be shifting for quite some time. So you might find over the next 3 to 5 years, it's a little bit kind of 1 minute it's stable, next minute it's a little bit like, oh, something new's just popped up. When you get to the 8 to 10 year mark, there's a lot more understanding of what is at play here. And so if you can take the last couple of years where the universe has been forcing us to shed and to learn and to grow and to heal and to evolve in order for higher consciousness to expand into ways that we have not yet experienced before, just to trust in that unknown, what you will find is that you can take that courage and that strength and identify what is your cause. What is it that you're here to do? And I'm not saying figure out what it is you're here to do for the forever. I'm talking about what is it that you're here to do in the short term, in the long term, meaning like over the next 10 years. And then after that, you can decide what the next thing is that you're here to do. What is it that you're meant to evolve as an individual into, and how that might help shape humanity in the foreseeable future. That is the gifts that are awakening in all of us right now. So our next question to Spirit is, how can we hold reverence for both the pain and the wisdom in our lineage? Oh, this is a good one. How can we hold reverence for both the pain and the wisdom in our lineage? And I think this can be perceived as a tough question or a really hard thing to do. And that's because as humans, we are programmed to separate pain. We're programmed to kind of segment this and that they're not one and the same, that pain and joy cannot coexist together. And I feel like both pain and wisdom are one in the same. Because it's not until you feel into that pain that you appreciate, and pain isn't necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pain being like, you're struggling to understand these things. You're like, why am I feeling this heaviness? Why is this happening to me? That's the pain that I'm referring to. And just like a diamond, under that pressure, a diamond is formed, right? When we are at the saddest moments in our time is after the storm, after that deep sadness, that deep storm has occurred. There, all of a sudden, there is a deeper knowing of who you are. And when you know the depths of the pain that you have gone through, the pain that sits in your ancestral lineage, it gives you so much insight and wisdom to not only help yourself moving forward, but to help others that may not actually be connected to your lineage at all. But if we're just focusing on your own lineage, when we move from that pain into the wisdom, you are ultimately, like I was saying before, you ultimately are shifting the frequency of your lineage as a whole, for others before you, for others to come after you, and for you to come after yourself whenever you decide to reincarnate, if that's something that you're wanting to do. So by holding a space for the pain, you allow yourself to trust that this is just a moment in time. And then from this will come a sense of deep knowing, wisdom, clarity, healing that not only will benefit you, not only will benefit your lineage, but will benefit the people around you that you either know or don't even know. And so when we can step into that place, that all of our pain is a learning, that all of our learnings can be shared, and that more people can be healed from the sharing of the story. Our lineage, past, present, future, and the lineages of other people in your space. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment here just to pause and reflect on this question. You can journal it or just breathe into it. What traits or gifts do you carry that feel older than this lifetime? So, what traits or gifts do you carry that feel older than this lifetime? So, as we gently move into our next segment, you are the bridge. Just breathe in and breathe out. And remember, you are not here to carry everything. You are here to bring awareness to what you carry and choose what continues. When you heal a pattern, you don't just heal it for yourself. You free the ones before you, and you make space for the ones yet to come. Your embodiment matters, not just for your soul, but for the collective web of lineage, spirit, and humanity. So, our last question to spirit here is, what does it mean to be the turning point in a lineage? So, what does it mean to be the turning point in a lineage? It means that you have gone against the grain, that you are seeking answers, you are seeking a sense of peace. By following a different path than the one that was laid out for you, or the one that your ancestors traveled. And when you become that turning point, you ultimately heal the lineage itself. You shed a new light to yourself, first and foremost, but you also shed a light to the other people in your life that are connected to you ancestrally, that are still here in the physical world with you. So this isn't just about you. I know we've spoken a lot today about how you heal the lineage so the souls all together can evolve at a higher intelligence. But when you become that turning point, you set something off energetically to your other family members connected to that same ancestral point here in the physical world. You definitely set it off in the lineage of you, but when we branch out here in the human form, you start to heal past souls. So, for example, if your grandmother has crossed over, by you being the turning point for that lineage, by you shifting the needle, her soul that is in the ether may not be reincarnated yet. That soul will feel that shift. So when they choose to come back, if they do, they will now be at a higher level of awareness and consciousness than where they were when they left this world. because of the soul family lineage that is connected. This is when people say you're breaking generational curses or you're clearing out old ancestral wounds. That's what it means when you are the turning point in a lineage. You allow past souls to heal as you are healing. And should they wish to reincarnate, they will be of a higher consciousness, allowing themselves to evolve way beyond what they thought they would when they left this earthly plane. And so your last reflection point here, before we move into our ritual, is where in your life can you consciously choose what ends with you and what continues forward? Where in your life can you consciously choose what ends with you and what continues forward? And as you're pondering on that, we're going to gently move into our ritual. I am the turning point. So you can either stand or sit. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Close your eyes and imagine a line of ancestors behind you. And you can say out loud or to yourself in your mind, to those who came before me, I see you. To the patterns I carry, I meet you with awareness. To the wounds that repeat, I offer compassion, not silence. To the gifts I've inherited, I honor and embody you. I am the turning point. I walk forward with reverence and with freedom. Let the breath move through your whole line now. And if you could speak to your ancestors right now, what would you say? Or what would you ask? And even feel free to light a candle in honor of them. Remember that you carry the past, but you are not bound by it. You are the living prayer of your ancestors and the opening into something new. In our next episode, we're going to look at the human spirit contract, why you came and why you stay. So until then, honor the line, break the loop, and remember, you are not alone in this. Thank you for being here fully. If today's episode stirred something in you, if you have a follow-up question, a reflection you'd like to share, or a way this conversation aligned with where you are right now, I'd love to hear from you. And if there are specific questions you'd like me to ask Spirit in future episodes based on what's coming up for you, send me a direct message at here.to.be.human.podcast on the Instagram page. Remember, your voice, your questions, your presence, they're part of this journey too. And if you'd like to connect with me more deeply, you'll find everything, sessions, programs, and updates over at www.moderndayMedium.com.au or on my Instagram page, which is at modern.day.medium. This is your invitation. This is the return. And this is what it means to be human. So until next time, stay with yourself, stay with your soul, and keep choosing this sacred, messy, and miraculous life.